was in ISER, right? So one of the things they would tell is if you go to a national college, all the Telugu people are called Gulti people. I understand what is this Gulti. So we used to, sort of take offense from that, especially because Telugus dominate, right? I mean, there was one of my friends who was in Hyderabad since birth he was in Hyderabad. He didn't know how to speak Telugu. He went to BITS Pilani, and after 6 months he knew how to speak Telugu. In Hyderabad you can survive without Telugu, but in BITS Pilani it is a little difficult to survive without Telugu. In Hyderabad you can survive without Telugu, but you go to an IIT and surviving without Telugu is a little difficult, at least in those times when I think out of 10,000 ranks, 5,000 ranks used to come to Telugu speaking states only. Till 2014 around, at least till 2010, 2011 around that time. Half of the IIT ranks would go to Telugu people only. So be it IT or IIT, Telugu people will go there. So, yeah. So at that time, so when I tell this, there are a lot of stereotypes, right? That as I put in the message, I talk of Brazil and a lot of people think, okay, football, or Goa and football. Okay, other things also people talk, but yeah. And when I talk about a lot of stereotypes we have, right? So I'd like to ask you a question. Are these stereotypes? Who's that with speakers on? Yeah. Okay, great. So are stereotypes good or are stereotypes bad? Let me ask you all a question. And yeah, trust me, it's a maths class. Be assured you'll learn maths at the end of it. So yeah, are stereotypes good or are stereotypes bad?
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
When are they good and when are they bad? Can you give one example for each? Abhilash, would you want to think of an example of a good stereotype? Anybody else? An example for a good stereotype? Okay, let's say you're crossing a road. You're crossing a road and there's a big, loud horn coming. Would you assume that to be a truck? But that could be a Royal Enfield also. Some people do that, no? Royal Enfield ko they put a truck ka horn. Right? So why do you believe that it's a truck when it was actually a bike? Because our brain has this amazing ability of generalizing. Our brain has this amazing ability of generalizing. So we generalize because we find patterns, and when we find patterns, we have this ability of learning from past experiences. Now, okay, how many of you do not like bitter gourd here? Karela, right? Yeah. How many of you do not like bitter gourd here? Okay, Abhilash has raised his hand. Shivani has raised her pen. So, okay. Okay, not many honest people here. Yeah. Okay, 3 honest people here. Okay. 3 people do not like bitter gourd. So, Abhilash, if I serve you bitter gourd, would you eat it or would you skip it?
I would skip it, sir.
But how do you know? Some people cook bitter gourd in a very interesting way, you know. It doesn't taste bitter. Some people who cook bitter gourd in such a way that it doesn't taste bitter. But by seeing bitter gourd only, you'll decide, no, mentally, this is going to be not tasty. So I mean, a lot of things which we do in our life are based on how we generalize. Right? Now, Abhilash, I'll give you a crow. Which color will it be in?
Black.
How do you know?
Sir, because most of them are black, which we see in our daily lives.
So how do you know that every crow is black? There could be one crow which is not black, no? This process, we call it induction. Induction is if I found 99 crows and 99 crows are black, I conclude that every crow is black. But would that be correct, Abhilash?
No, sir.
Okay, Abhilash, I'll do one thing. Let's, I'll play around with you now. Okay, with your permission. Oh, he doesn't seem to be.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he gave me permission. Okay, very good. So, Abhilash, what I'll do is I will take your school ka CCTV footage and I'll find all those days when you did some nautanki in the school. Okay, I'll take 90 days ka footage and put only those 90 days when you did nautanki, right from your LKG till your 11th class. And only those 90 days ka footage, I'll put it forward and I say, this is the most notorious kid in the entire school. How would you feel? Only the days when
I
you
would feel
Shararat. Huh?
I would feel bad, sir.
Why?
Then I would laugh.
Achha, you'd feel bad and then laugh. Very interesting. Integrative thinking. Okay. But you see, the problem with generalization is just because it has happened so far doesn't mean it has to happen again, right? Will sun rise in the east tomorrow? Yes. My favorite question, what if Rajnikant kicks the earth and earth goes ulta from tomorrow? Just because the sun has been sincerely rising in the east every day doesn't mean sun has to rise tomorrow also, no? Or just because the apples have been sincerely falling down every day doesn't mean they have to fall down tomorrow also. No, Rajnikant may say stop and they may stop, no? But why do we believe that gravity exists? Tomorrow you don't know what will happen. Who knew COVID would happen in 2020? So why do we believe that these things will happen the same way? Why do we do science at all? When everything is so unpredictable, why do we do science at all? It's like exam. कुछ आंसर नहीं है तो क्या करना है? Inky Pinky Ponky, father has a donkey, right? That's what scientists also do. Scientists also do Inky Pinky Ponky, just that they know 2-3 complicated words, so they will make it sound like we're doing some very high funda, fancy stuff and all of that. But science is nothing but a very clever way of doing Inky Pinky Ponky. Very clever way, more intelligent way of doing Inky Pinky Ponky. So we are more correct than normal people. But the good news I have today with respect to the mathematics class, the good news I have for you all is, while in reality, just because I saw 99 crows and I can't conclude if that crow is black or white, in reality, I can't conclude. But in the world of mathematics, I can predict stuff. In the world of mathematics, I can predict stuff because the world of mathematics is decided. Because who creates nature? Depending on how religious you are, it's whether a god or whatever. But mathematics is created by us. Do we have control on nature? No. We do not know what can happen in nature. But in mathematics, mathematics is a world created by us. So there is a sense of certainty in mathematics. What we expect that happens in mathematics. Right? So in mathematics, what we do is we try to generalize stuff. In mathematics, we try to generalize stuff. What do I mean by generalize stuff? Now, let's go to quadratic equations. Now, if you guys remember what you learned in quadratic equations, if you don't remember, never mind, I'll do it again. If you have an equation x minus 2 into x minus 3 equal to 0, what are the roots of this equation? Would anyone want to tell me what are the roots of this equation?
2 and 3.
X equal to 2 and x equal to 3. Okay. What do you mean by a root? You put that value and the equation is like boom, gone. Right? That's a root. So now, if I multiply these two fellows, what do I get? X into x is x square. X into 3 is minus 3x, minus 2x, plus 6, right? Now, if I write this in this format, I get x square minus 5x plus 6 in this format. So what do I observe between this 5, 2 and 3? What pattern do I see between 5, 2 and 3? I'm getting minus 3x, minus 2x. What is happening to the 3 and 2?
Fine.
It's getting added.
Getting added. Now what is happening to the 2 and 3 in the 6?
Multiply.
Multiplication.
Now we'll look at a different example. Let's say x minus 1 and x minus 3. If I expand them, what will happen? X square minus x minus 3x plus 3. So what is happening to 1 and 3 in the middle term? What is happening to 1 and 3? It's getting,
Added.
again, it's getting added here. And in this term, 1 and 3 are getting multiplied. So we see this as a common pattern. And then we can prove it, right? How do you prove it? You say that it's not 1, it can be any fellow. Right? You say it's not 1, it can be any fellow. Let's say it is x minus Rajnikant into x minus Kamal Haasan. Whatever number Rajnikant wants, he'll put that number there. Whatever number Kamal Haasan wants, he'll put that number there. So how do you do x minus Rajnikant into x minus Kamal Haasan? X into x is x square. Minus Rajnikant into x is minus Rajnikant x. Minus Kamal Haasan into x is minus Kamal Haasan x plus Rajnikant into Kamal Haasan. So from this exercise, what do you realize? No matter what value I put here, I can put 1, I can put 2, I can put 3, I can put, it's Rajnikant's wish. What he wants to put, he'll put. And here, no matter what number I put, what is happening is the coefficient of x becomes
Added.
the sum, right? No matter what value I put. It's like if I give you a scooter, do you want it to work only on one road or do you want it to work on any road?
Any route.
Just that now in
Any road.
Hyderabad, just that now in Hyderabad they don't work. You need boats, right? So, yeah, at least many of the areas are like that. So when you likewise when you bring in this, you do not want this identity to work only for 2, 3, 4, 5. You want it to work for any number, right? So we realize that the sum of the roots, if I have x square minus ax plus b, what did we see? The sum of the roots is
A.
minus a. Yeah, sorry, sum of the roots is a. So if the roots are alpha and beta, it will be minus alpha x minus beta x. So sum of the roots, if the roots are alpha and beta, sum of the roots is a and product of the roots is p. Now, this is something we already saw in 10th class, right? So if I give you x square minus 7x plus 12, what can you predict? Sum of the roots is
7.
and product of the roots is
12.
So from this, can you guess the roots?
Yes.
Can you guess which two numbers sum is 7 and product is 12?
3 and 4.
4.
Correct. You learned this already in your 10th class. Now, when we talk of theory of equations, we do a similar analysis, but we generalize. What did we say about generalization? We see one thing in one case. From that one case, we talk of more cases. So we say that what will happen if I take 3 terms? So it's what do you mean by product of 3 terms? You have 3 baskets. In this basket, you can either take x or you can take 1. In this basket, you can either take x or you can take 2. In this basket, again, you can take either x or you can take 2. Correct? So if I want x cube, what should I do? From all baskets? If I want x cube from all baskets,
All x.
I take only x from all baskets. Now, if I want x square, do I have options? If I want x square, do I have options? For x cube, no option now. From every bag, you should take x only. If I want x square, do I have options?
Yes.
What are the options I have?
Hmm. If you take 2x's from the first two, then I have those two options. Else the second two.
Okay, see, let me put this in an interesting way. You have three neighbors, okay? You have three neighbors. So there is one nice aunt who feeds you good cake every day. Okay, then there is Chintu here in this house, who's also very nice. And in the third house, there is Colonel Uncle, who scolds every day, retired army general. Okay, so you have three houses. Now, you are supposed, and inside the house, there is a red ball. Inside the house, there's a red ball. Outside the house, there's a blue ball. If you want the red ball, you need to knock the door, ask them and take the red ball. If you want the blue ball, you directly go outside, take it off and come. Now, if you want three red balls, do you have any choice? You should knock every door and take and come. But if you want two red balls, what will you do? If you want two red balls, what will you do?
Knock at the most friendly houses.
Yeah, from auntie and from Chintu you will take, no? Colonel Uncle, you will not go. Right? But what are the three choices you have if you want two red balls? One choice is you take red ball from auntie and Chintu and take blue ball from Colonel Uncle, that is from outside. You either take blue ball from Colonel Uncle and red ball from the other two, or the other choice is you take blue ball from Chintu and then you take red ball from auntie and Colonel Uncle, or you take blue ball from auntie and then you take red ball from Chintu and Colonel. But of the three choices, you find it more convenient to take red from these two. Right? So that way, this red ball is like the x and the blue ball is like the -1. So if I want x cube, what do? I have to take red ball from everyone, no choice. I have to knock everybody's door. If I want x square, what do? If I want x square, either I can take -3 from here and 2 x's from here, or I can take -3 from here and x from here and x from here. That's like one blue ball and two red balls. Or I can take -2 from here, x from here and x from here. Or what is the other possibility? I can take -1 from here, x from here and x from here. So I get x square into -3, x square into -2, x square into -1. So what is my coefficient of x square here? -1 plus -2 plus -3. That is -6. So what am I getting as the coefficient of x square? Am I getting the same pattern as quadratic equations? What is happening here? What operation is happening? Sum of roots. Now, if I don't want an x, what do? Good, no need red ball. You want only blue balls. What will you do? Take -1 from here, take -2 from here, take -3 from there. So what will you get? -1 into -2 into -3. So you're getting the product of roots. Just that the negative sign may there is a problem, but otherwise you're getting product of roots. Now, let us say I have an equation with 4 boxes. That is like apart from Colonel Uncle, there is one more uncle coming now. Four houses. Now, if I want x power 4, do I have any choice? From here I should take x, from here also should take x, from here also should take x. So only one. So that is x power 4. Only one way. But if I want x cubed, do I have choices?
Yes.
I can take x from 1, 2, and 3, and I can take -4 from the fourth fellow. What is the other choice?
-2, -2.
I take -1 from the first fellow and I take x from the other 3 fellows. What is the other choice? I take -2 from the second fellow and I take x from all the other fellows. What is the other choice? -3 from this fellow and x from all the other fellows. Now then I'll also have x square into something, so big circus will come, then x into something big circus. If I do not want an x, then what do I do? If I do not want an x, you take only numbers from everywhere, right? You take -1 here, you take -2 here, you take -3 here, you take -4 here. So what do you get? -1 into -2 into -3 into -4. Now, let's do an interesting analysis. When I have x -1 into x -2, what is the product of the roots? The constant term here is -1 into -2, correct? Without x. If I have x -1 into x -2 into x -3, what is the constant term? That is no x wala term. -1 into -2 into -3. If I take x -1 into x -2 into x -3 into x -4, what do I get as the constant term?
24.
-1 into -2 into -3 into -4. If I have 5 terms, can you tell me what will be the constant term? What will be the constant term? Now, can you guys tell me what are the roots of this equation? Roots of this equation? Roots of this equation? Roots of this equation? Right? So here, am I getting plus or minus?
Minus.
Minus into minuses?
Minus. Plus.
Here am I getting plus or minus?
Minus.
Here am I getting plus or minus?
Plus.
And here,
Minus.
if the number of terms is odd, I'm getting minus.
Minus.
This is odd, no? 1, 2, 3 terms, 5 terms, odd. If terms are even, plus. If terms are odd, minus.
Minus.
Yeah, so they all are like Arvind Kejriwal, no? Odd days and even days of how they want to behave. So what can we generalize from here? The product of roots is the product of roots is the constant term if the number of terms are here. What is the product of roots? 1 into 2, 2, and the coefficient is also 2. Here, what is the product of roots? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. The constant term is also 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So when do we say that the constant term is equal to the product of the roots? Only when number of terms is
Even.
and when number of terms is odd.
Minus.
So if I have an equation which looks like x minus alpha into x minus beta, or x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, so on till x minus alpha n roots. It's like, give you an example, x minus 1 into x minus 2, x minus 3, like this, so on till x minus n. The product of the roots will be alpha, the alpha 1, alpha 2, so on till alpha n will be equal to the constant term c into minus 1 power n. That's what we observe, no? When n is, how does minus 1 power n look? When n is even, it will behave like minus 1 power n. What is it when n is even? What is minus 1 power n when n is even? 1. And what is minus 1 power n when n is odd? Minus 1.
Minus.
So the product of all the roots will be the constant term only when n is even, and will be negative of the constant term when n is odd. Right? Likewise, if you look at the sum of the roots, you can find a pattern. That would be your homework. You can find a pattern about sum of roots also. Sum of roots, I think you will get minus 1 power n plus 1. If you see quadratic equations, you're getting minus b by a and plus c by a, no? So the sum and product are always opposites. One is India, one is Pakistan. If the sum has a minus, the product is having a plus, and if the product has a minus, see here, if you look at quadratic, sum is negative and product is positive. But if you look at cubic, x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3, in the sum you are getting negative. In the sum you're getting positive. You'll get x square into minus 1 plus x square into minus 2 plus x square into minus 3. You'll get minus 6x square x cube minus 6x square plus minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3. Oh, both are being negative here. But in the case of x power 4, what are you getting? X minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3 into x minus 4. Here the product is being positive. Minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3 into minus 4. Your constant term is 24. Your product of roots is also 24. But what about your sum? X cube into minus 1, x cube into minus 2, x cube into minus 3, x cube into minus 4. So your sum of roots is always negative. But your product of roots depends on the number of terms. Do you guys get my observation? If you take sum of roots, now everywhere you are picking x. Only one place you're picking the constant, and the constant is always negative of the root. So sum of the roots is always negative of the x power n minus 1 coefficient, but the product of roots depends on number of terms. Now let me ask you a question. X power 7 minus 6x square plus 5x minus 9. What is the sum of roots of this equation? What is the sum of roots of this equation?
0.
0.
Why? Because x power 6 coefficient is
0.
0.
0.
What is the product of roots here? It is odd.
9.
It is odd. So you'll get minus of minus 9, you'll get plus 9. Let me ask you one more.
Minus 9.
X power 7 minus 9. What is the product of roots? What's the product of
9.
plus 9? X power 8 minus 9,
9.
product of roots, x power 8 minus 9.
9.
Minus 9.
Minus 9.
Okay, minus 9.
It'll be same. Here it will be minus 9 into minus 1. Here it will be same. Here, what is the sum of roots?
0.
0.
Here, sum of roots.
0.
So, do you guys want to share what did we learn in today's class? What did we learn in today's class?
Sum and product of the roots.
Okay. Then why did we talk about Rajni? I mean, stereotypes and all of that. Why did we talk about stereotypes and all of that?
Generalization.
Okay. So generally we try to look at it, we try to by heart the formula in terms of theory of equations, right? But instead of memorizing the formula, we can actually try to find patterns. Mathematics, see, one becomes a good mathematician when one is a good pattern hunter. One becomes a good mathematician when one is a good pattern hunter. Like, see, as you grow as a mathematician, you tend to learn a lot of things. As you grow as a mathematician, you tend to learn a lot of things. But one of the first things you've got to have as a mathematician, one of the inborn talent which a mathematician has got to have is that ability to spot patterns. That comes naturally, and you do more and more of it to find patterns. All the other equations, formulae, techniques, they can be acquired. But what becomes very important is that ability to see patterns. And if you're not able to see a pattern, what do? Go to a toy example. If the example is very tough, you go to a simpler example, because when you take a simpler example, you get a strong control over what is happening. You get a hold of what is happening. When you see 2 or 3 simple examples, from those 2 or 3 simple examples, you get an intuitive hold. And this is a life skill. This is a lesson for life, because in life as well, we get a lot of experiences, and from those experiences, we're trying to generalize and we see what works for us and what doesn't. So this is a wonderful lesson we all can learn. And in theory of equations, we are just generalizing from quadratic equations, because quadratic equations are only when you have a polynomial with degree 2, right? But then you have a lot of other polynomials apart from quadratic equations, and polynomials are interesting. On another day, we will discuss about polynomials and why Ramanujan liked polynomials and so on. But theory of equations is about, if I have different polynomials, what can I comment about the roots and so on. I may not be, see, and again, it's important because if it's quadratic equation, you can be guaranteed to find a solution. You can definitely find a solution, be it real or complex. But if it is polynomials, I'm not quite sure if you'll definitely be able to solve it. There probably could be polynomials for which you're not able to solve and find a solution accurately. So you could have polynomials where you do not know how to solve them, and yet you're still able to comment about the roots. That's wonderful, right? It's like this, you're a, I was watching this movie, Special Ops, Super Ops or Special Ops, which one is that? Yeah, Hotstar Pay. So there, somebody is asked, why are you funding this person? He says, this guy knows about, Al-Qaeda more than you do or I do. So there are some people, some police who know a thief very well. So it's like, there's a police officer who knows a Veerappan very, very well. So if you ask the police officer, what do you know about Veerappan? He says, everything except where he is right now. There's the only thing left, to go and catch him. So sometimes you do not know the exact route. You do not know the solution, but you know a lot of things about the solution. Like you're trying to catch a thief. You're trying to catch a thief. You do not know where the thief is, but you know a lot of things about the thief. Would that be valuable? Like the other day I told you Veerappan Murugappan story. No, you're trying to catch Veerappan. You can't catch Veerappan, but his friend Murugappan is easy to catch. So with the help of Murugappan, you can catch Veerappan. No. So like that, it's very important in mathematics, especially in algebra, that we understand the solution and we know more about the solution. We may not get the solution, but knowing about the solution helps us find the solution. Knowing about the solution helps us find the solution. So yeah, that's about it for now. I think Krishna Priya, you can allocate them to the breakout rooms and they can continue problem solving in the breakout rooms.